First match on the main card of the TLC 2014 pay-per-view is going to be the Divas champion Nikki Bella going up against AJ Lee. Honestly, I wasn't that very surprised that at Survivor Series, Nikki Bella was able to capture the belt from AJ Lee. I was very surprised by the fact that it happened so fast. A lot of people drew a lot of comparisons to Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28, sort of saying that this was a way of, I don't even know how that makes sense now that I think about it, seeing how it was Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, and this was AJ Lee, who is, oh, I guess because AJ Lee kissed Bryan. Okay, the whole time I was thinking because of CM Punk was involved somehow. Honestly, I'm not surprised that this is a rematch, but I can honestly say that there wasn't been very much hype for this match. I would have thought that AJ Lee would have announced that she wanted a rematch at the pay-per-view almost instantly after the Survivor Series. I mean, before the Survivor Series had already ended, they had already named Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose as a TLC match for the TLC pay-per-view. So why wouldn't the champion be telling everyone that she's going to cash in her contractually obligated rematch for the next pay-per-view, saying that she wanted to go for the big one? AJ Lee is a name that's been in the news for a good little while, and a lot of the news coming out of the AJ Lee camp hasn't all been, that great. From listening to the Art of Wrestling podcast with CM Punk, he talked a lot about AJ, talking about, fans chanting his name at her, basically saying that he wished that they wouldn't do that. It's sort of disrespectful to AJ. If you want to cheer for AJ, cheer for her, but don't cheer for him. It's sort of distracting, and it just sort of draws attention to him, who's no longer involved with the company. AJ Lee walked out of the Slammies holding her own Slammy for Diva of the Year. I honestly was sort of a little bit surprised by that. Of course, she did have the long 300 plus days of being Divas champion. She ran through everyone on the roster, even the lower sort of Total Diva girls got a shot at her, and no one was able to do it. Finally, Paige was able to come over from NXT, and we talked about that run for a good long time. It seemed like month in and month out, Paige and AJ were having matches on pay-per-view, and they just weren't really connecting and weren't really meeting right. I sort of picked Paige to win the Diva of the Year. I thought that with her coming in from NXT, it would sort of be like a Rookie of the Year almost trophy, or a big-time honor for her to take the top spot in the Divas division, even though when she did have the title, she was fighting the ranks of Alicia Fox, Oksana, Tamina, and just names like that just really pop off the page. I don't know. I know that there's been lots of talks about AJ Lee walking away from the company after TLC. Basically, this time for real, not like after WrestleMania where everybody thought she was going home to spend time with CM Punk and not come back. She surprisingly came back, beat Paige in a matter of seconds, but this will be the end of her contract and the end of her time in WWE, where I guess she will be going off and enjoying her own endeavors. Some people have made rumors of saying that she would go into some sort of comic book sort of trade, much like how CM Punk is writing for Thor and for Marvel at this time. She was all over the CM Punk announcement to basically be in UFC. That was covered all over the weekend. There's thousands of videos and things you can go read on that. That was a big time trending topic. I know a lot of people that come into my store and talk with me about wrestling during my day. There was one lady who came to me and said basically she was watching the UFC pay-per-view, saw about CM Punk joining UFC, and didn't really know that he knew anything about jiu-jitsu or anything about MMA, and thought it was a little bit of a weird jump, so she went and sort of investigated on her own, and she came up to me and said, you've never told me that AJ Lee and CM Punk were married. She didn't know that, and I honestly told her that it's because I didn't think you would honestly believe me. It just doesn't seem like those two would really match up, but I thought that it was pretty cool that even when WWE put up stories about the Slammies, and they talked with AJ Lee about winning Diva of the Year. They didn't really draw a line saying this is what she's talking about, but I think if you read the article, you'll be able to know. She was talking about how big of a week that she's had this week, and I think she's talking a lot about CM Punk's announcement to go to UFC, and now here she is going into TLC, having a Divas Championship against Nikki Bella. She's looking to become the 4-time Divas Champion, take over being the queen of the Divas division, and also, becoming, the top dog of the Divas division by taking home that Slammy, saying that she is the best. Nikki Bella, I believe this is her first time holding the Divas Championship. I think that Brie was the champion last time in 2010 when they were in the company, and Nikki was sort of playing the, I guess you can say, sidekick to her, and now it's the opposite way around. Nikki Bella, of course, one of the top dogs on Total Divas. A lot of people always said that a Total Divas girl was never going to hold the Divas tag belt, or not tag belt, the Divas Championship belt. And now we finally do have one. I think that this honestly could be a little bit of a better match than I think a lot of people are thinking. Definitely hoping that they're not going to beat AJ Lee in her last match in a matter of seconds again. And we're going to be able to see that Nikki Bella really has been training and pushing hard to become a really good Divas wrestler. When you're rubbing up against John Cena and you're seeing the way he's training and pushing himself to become a better wrestler and become stronger, become smarter, I think that it's going to rub off on you, and I think that it's going to come to you. I think that Nikki's matches have been a whole lot better since returning to the WWE in the last 2 years. I think she came back right before WrestleMania 29. I think that's right, because that's about the time they started filming Total Divas, and that's when they got kicked off of the WrestleMania 29 show. They got bumped with their tag match before the main event of Rock and John Cena coming out because of the CM Punk versus Undertaker match running too long and taking up too much of the time and not wanting to take away from the main event. Honestly, in this match, I think I'm going to go along with all of the rumors that a lot of people have been saying that AJ Lee is going to be leaving the company, and that she's going to be just gone voyage, and we'll just move on from there. I think it's pretty easy to see by noticing that they've added new divas to Total Divas, and just about every diva that it is in the WWE is a part of the show except for AJ Lee. They made up the story of basically saying that AJ was protected and she didn't want to be featured on the show. I think it's just the fact that her contract was coming up. She's leaving, and they didn't want to make light of that so early on. That she was leaving. Those are just my thoughts about what's going down. So I'm seeing that Nikki Bella is going to be walking out of TLC as the Divas Champion. I think that's the easiest thing to notice. That'll be it for this Divas Championship match. We'll move on to the next segment, and we'll cover another match.